Capstone 6. Have you ever wondered where the highest amount of CO2 and greenhouse gas emissions are in the United States? I'm sure you might be thinking California or New York, right? With all the traffic, backups, and buildings, they must produce the most CO2. Well, that is wrong. They are actually at the bottom of the list, along with Washington, D.C., for CO2 emissions per capita. The number one producer of CO2 is actually Wyoming. Wyoming, the state in the lower 48 and known for their clear blue skies, has the most greenhouse gas emissions in the United States. The numbers are scary high, but just how bad is it? The World Atlas reports that Wyoming's carbon dioxide emissions per capita is 111.55 metric tons. This leaves Wyoming with the highest emissions numbers by any state by far. The next highest CO2 emissions per capita is North Dakota, coming in at 73.81 metric tons. Now that you know the magnitude of the problem, what is causing this? In Campbell County, Wyoming, and all the way up to Montana, there is the Powder River Basin, which houses several of the largest coal reserves. This supplies approximately 40% of the United States coal and is the cause of 13% of all U.S. greenhouse gas emissions. This makes Powder River Basin one of the main causes of Wyoming's extremely high greenhouse gas emissions. To mitigate these emissions, Wyoming is looking at possible solutions, starting with carbon capture. This is where the Integrated Test Center, ITC, comes in. The Wyoming ITC is a $15 million operation that studies the capture, sequestration, and management of carbon emissions. Also, the NRG COSIA Carbon X Prize competition is a competition with 10 finalists, all with plans to turn carbon into something usable. Along with reusing carbon, there is also research going on at Wyoming University to store carbon underground. This is done by taking different samples of underground rocks and finding the most porous ones to determine where the carbon should be stored. Ultimately, there is no clean form of carbon, and carbon emissions cannot continue to be emitted at the rate they currently are. More regulations and cleaner solutions have to be found so we can slow or even stop the rate of climate change.